So Nico, I've been wondering, nursing seems like a pretty good career. How do you even become a nurse? You just go to nursing school, pass the NCLEX and 75 questions and become a nurse. Okay, cool. So is it possible to become a nurse in 1 year? That's a good question. Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nico. I'm a registered nurse out of North Carolina, and I work in the ICU. My background predominantly is medical ICU, but I also have worked a fair bit in surgical ICU, CV ICU, and I've also worked a fair bit in surgical transplant and med-surg or gen med. Today, I'm excited to bring you a comprehensive guide on how to become a nurse. In my opinion, nursing is one of the most rewarding professions. It's one of the most fulfilling careers out there. Honestly, it's a very challenging profession. Some days I come home and I'm very physically and mentally exhausted, from managing ventilators, cardiac drips, patients on dialysis, coding patients. But at the end of the day, I'll wake up the next morning and feel extremely blessed because of my health, but also blessed because I got to spend the time with these patients. And also feeling very rewarded from the feedback that I got from my coworkers, my peers, charge nurse, physicians, but most importantly, sometimes even from the patient or the patient's family. That to me is the most rewarding. So whether you're just starting your nursing journey or you're thinking about making a career switch, let's dive right into Nurse Nico's guide to becoming a registered nurse. Step 1, research and self-assessment. So the first step of this journey is gonna be to do a little bit of research and to conduct kind of a self-assessment, if you will, on why you even want to become a nurse. You should be asking yourself the question of what makes a good nurse? Why would I fit this quality? Are you gonna be going into nursing for the money or the schedule? Or the desire to work in the hospital or the clinic? Is it because you're a passionate caregiver? Was it because your mom was a nurse or your dad was a nurse? Or your grandma or X, Y, and Z? Or maybe it was because you were in the hospital and you remember that nurse that took such great care of your family when they were very, very sick or even dying. The truth is that each and every one of us have a little bit of a different reason as to why we want to go into the medical professional and become a nurse. But that's the beauty of nursing. It's such a diverse career. It's such a diverse profession, and you can do so many different things with it. Now, let's get to the chase about money. Nursing is definitely not a career to get rich. Now, there are a couple avenues where nursing can actually set you up for a pretty affluent lifestyle. For example, CRNAs, going to nursing school and then going back to school to become a CRNA. Starting those, providers make around $200,000 a year. Next, pharmaceuticals, nurses who go into pharmaceutical sales or reps or whatnot, they can make some great money. Nurse practitioners can make a fair bit of money as well. Nurse entrepreneurs, etc. So I'm not saying you can't not make money with nursing, but nursing should not be about going into it for the money, right? It should be about, going into it for the empathy, for the passion to be a caregiver, for wanting to work in a fast-paced environment, for wanting to work, with your coworkers who are gonna challenge you each and every single day. That's the reason why you should go into nursing. Step 2. So after you've given it a little bit of thought, and asked yourself the question of, why do I want to become a nurse? And you feel like you're very passionate about pursuing this. You should start thinking about education and what pathways or what avenues you can go into to become a nurse. So I would say that there are generally about 3 different ways to become a nurse. The first is going to be what's called an ADN program, Associate Degree in Nursing. This is typically a 2 to 3 year career or 2 to 3 year schooling where you come out with a associate's degree in an RN. So you're still a registered nurse, but the degree behind that is just an associate. You can start working in the hospital, in the ICU with this type of degree, but oftentimes you will sign a contract that within 2 to 5 years, you will have to go back to school and get what's called your BSN. So that leads us to second educational pathway, which is going to be the traditional BSN degree. That stands for Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. This is a 4-year program in an undergraduate degree. It's going to combine your classes with your clinical, with your prerequisites as well. So this is going to be kind of an all-inclusive degree. These typically, and again, there's going to be some exceptions, these typically are going to be the most competitive programs. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the BSN program. And then the third and final way that you can actually become a RN is going to be what's called an ABSN, or Accelerated Bachelor's in Nursing. Now, kind of back to that original question, is it possible to become a nurse in just 1 year? Technically, yes. Some of these nursing programs are, specifically the ABSN, they can be around 12 to 15 to 16 months. They're very accelerated. They're very fast paced. They go straight through the summer. Oftentimes the breaks are a little bit shorter because it's not a traditional program. It's going to be what's called an accelerated program. Now, the one caveat to this is that this is only applicable to people who already have a bachelor's degree. So that would be essentially a bachelor's degree in biology, chemistry, microbiology, something to do probably with a science background. Not to say you can't have a degree in like a marketing or business, but before you enter into that ABSN, you may have to do a couple prerequisites here and there if that program didn't set you up for those classes. So that is going to be for people who already have a bachelor's again, and maybe they were out in the working world for a couple years, or it's very common that, someone will go into like a bachelor's in biology thinking that maybe they want to go in to become a PA, or maybe they want to go into becoming a doctor. But then when they finish, they realize, I actually kind of want to pursue nursing. So that is a great way to go ahead and just add that, 12 to 16 months additionally to that degree that you have and become a registered nurse. So step 3 is going to be the actual application process. And this is where every state and every school is going to be a little bit different. But this is where you're going to, start to actually apply to the school. Make sure you look at the deadlines. Oftentimes there's 2 cohorts within nursing, usually starting in August or January, so 2 semesters. This is where you're going to submit your, high school transcripts. You're going to submit any documentation surrounding, test scores, any exams that the school might require. Sometimes there are pre-entrance nursing exams, for example, the HESI exam or the TEAS test. I might make a video on those later. But some of these programs might require you to take what's called just a standardized test to assess your knowledge to see if nursing would be a good fit for you. This is also where you're going to start to, provide maybe some letters of recommendation. Some schools actually do require letters of recommendation. I would highly challenge you if you can get a letter of recommendation written by a nurse. That looks really, really good. And again, nursing schools nowadays are becoming very competitive, and so they're becoming very fair across the board. And so they do require typically what's called like a point system. I remember my nursing school had a point system. I think it was like 0 to 50 points. I think I scored like around a 47 or 48. There were definitely people who had, you know, 50s. And to make it unbiased, it was based on whoever had the, you know, the highest score. Now in the chance of a tie, and I'm telling you, this does happen, this is where those resumes and those, you know, the transcripts, the grades in high school, very important. What you received on the HESI test or the TEAS test, that might be very beneficial to you in the chance of a tie. Okay, step 4. So congratulations, you have applied to nursing school. You just check your email, it's the summer. Congratulations, you just got accepted into ECU School of Nursing or whatever you know, college that you had applied to. You should be super excited. Think about how many people would love that opportunity, and you beat out those other candidates. So first off, you should, you know, be very happy and congratulate yourself. Give yourself a little pat on the back. And then the next step is to kind of get prepared to commit to this. I mean, nursing school is a very, very challenging, yet again, very rewarding schooling. Sometimes you're gonna be forced to be waking up around 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to go to clinical. Other days you might have class at 8, 9 a.m. On top of that, you're gonna have tests, you're gonna have quizzes, you're gonna have care plans. You're gonna have maybe some essays or some research to do. Again, this is a very holistic program. Nursing is a very evidence-based, research-based career, but it's a very holistic career in that it's gonna prepare you to do multiple things very, very well. You're gonna have the clinical piece where you're gonna be giving, you know, medications, doing assessments, flushing IVs, all that stuff. But then you're also gonna be learning, you know, the pathophysiology about the human body. You're gonna be learning about different blood types, the kidneys, the liver, the heart, the 4 chambers, you know, the nephrons. Prioritize and time manage your time, because again, at the end of the day, this is your focus. School is gonna be your focus, and then once you finish school, you might have a little bit of time to take the foot off the gas, if you will, and enjoy it and get through it. But I remember in nursing school, it was an absolute grind. Step 5, so we are getting very close now. You have just finished nursing school. You passed by the grace of God for me. Oh, just kidding. So you have passed, you got, you know, all your assignments done, you finish your test, you finish your clinical, maybe even you got your dream job. That's very realistic. Now it's time to prepare for the NCLEX. So I remember when I graduated nursing school around 4 or 5 years ago. They had what was called a Archer review. And that was a very, very great program to help you kind of prep for this test. And then additionally, I paid for what was called UWorld, which would actually kind of mimic what the layout of the NCLEX looked like, and helped me specifically with the select all that apply questions. And this is where you're gonna have to start diving into your test prep to specifically pass your state boards. Because again, nursing school now is in the past, and now you have to focus on the NCLEX and how to pass that and become a registered nurse. Step 6. So you just got your quick results. You paid the extra 10 bucks. Absolutely worth it, yes. And you just saw that you passed the NCLEX. Oh my goodness, it was like the hardest test. You passed in 75, but you thought you failed. It's possible. Anyway, yes, so you passed the NCLEX. Now what is it time to do? So typically at this point, you've already kind of submitted some documentation to get your license. You may have to submit one more proof of pass to the Board of Nursing for them to actually issue you your state license. Once that's the case and you have that in the mail, you can actually submit that to your employer to get that first job. Some jobs might even hire you and may even start you preemptively before you pass the NCLEX, but they definitely need those test results to kind of cement that hire process and onboard you into your orientation, into your new unit, into that ICU, into that, you know, step down, dialysis, IV team, whatever it may be. They need that test result. Okay, so we've covered pretty much everything about what it looks like to kind of go through the process of getting into nursing school, finishing nursing school, passing the NCLEX, etc., getting your first job. Now, I want to rewind a little bit. So what if you watch this video and you're thinking to yourself, you know, I really like the idea of maybe becoming a nurse, but I'm just not 100% sure. I have some reserve. What should I do? Because it's a big commitment, don't get me wrong. Now, I have a couple options for you. The first option for those people who are kind of on the fence might be to actually reach out to someone that you know who's a nurse, or maybe even reach out to you know, the hospital or clinic and ask for a shadow. This can be very, very beneficial for someone who's very passionate about nursing. Maybe they have everything kind of all their ducks in a row, and now they just kind of want to see what does a day-to-day life in the life of a nurse look like, and kind of what would it be like if I went into that profession? Because again, you know, every specialty is a little bit different. Maybe you're passionate about, you know, cardiology or a subset within nursing. See if you can shadow someone specifically in the career that you're passionate about and see if it would be a good fit for you. Okay, tip number 2 for those who are kind of on the fence. Maybe you can go ahead and become what's called a certified nursing assistant. This is a great job and a great way for you to kind of get a little bit of insight into the day-to-day of a nurse while actually making a little bit of money. This is typically like a 3 to 6 month certification. It's not a degree or anything like that. They have private CNA classes, you have public CNA classes. There is a standardized test at the end. It's a practical test where you actually show some skills on like how to put a Foley catheter in or how to do a bed bath, stuff like that. I actually was a CNA before I became a nurse as well, and it was a very, very beneficial transition. So becoming a CNA, this might be a great way to see if nursing is a good fit for you. Tip number 3, take a leap of faith. Go for it. You know, at the end of the day, you can be on the fence all you want, but until you make a decision in your life, nothing is going to change. I will tell you wholeheartedly, I love the nursing profession. Yes, some days are better than others, but for the most part, it's a really, really well-rounded career. It provides you with a great foundation to do many different things. Work in the hospital, the clinic, you can do travel nursing, you can go back to school, become a CRNA, make $200,000 a year, you can become a nurse practitioner, start providing medications, you can go into labor and delivery, start delivering babies. So all of these rewarding things that nursing has to offer is just one step away. If you really set your mind to something, you can accomplish it. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really helps me out. I'm a new creator, but I'm hoping to continue to grow this channel and provide you guys with more nursing style tips and videos in the future. Share this video with anyone you think might be interested, and definitely comment if you agree with this or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching.